We talk about Trump being a Russian asset, and now we can almost confirm that yes, but Donald Trump actually didn't know it. A new leaked phone call from Bloomberg points that Steve Witkoff, the person who's supposed to act on behalf of the American people and for Donald Trump, someone who Donald Trump has trust in, was actually telling the Russians on how to manipulate the president of the United States so that the peace plan, which is the one that Russia actually provided, that Donald Trump would be okay with it, and that ultimately this was the best deal that was going to happen. When realistically, it wasn't. And it was the Russian plan, which is why, according to The Guardian, a lot of the words were translated weird, which actually pointed it to being originally in Russian. This is what's breaking right now. And it definitely brings up a major concern that we've been talking about for 8 months now, which is why is Steve Witkoff leading the majority of these conversations when he's not qualified to do so? And now, because of these leaked calls, we know that he's acting actually in Russia's interest and not the United States' interest. In talking about sabotaging peace talks, we see Steve Witkoff actually saying to a Kremlin aide before the meeting with Zelensky when it came to the Tomahawks, I want to read this for you, quote, "Zelensky is coming to the White House on Friday. I will go to that meeting because they want me there," as though like he doesn't want to be there. "But I think if possible, we have the call with your boss before that Friday meeting," which ultimately sabotaged Ukraine getting Tomahawk missiles, which, remember, according to this, Witkoff told the Russians on how to persuade Trump so that Ukraine, A, doesn't get the Tomahawk missiles, and B, that the peace plan and things work in Russia's favor. Yes, this in a way is treason, because Witkoff is now purposely misleading the president and helping our enemies. Diving deep into this call, this is how Witkoff was kind of coaching the Russians. He says, "Congratulate the president on his achievement and say that you, Russia, supported it," talking about the Gaza talks, "and say that you respect that he is a man of peace and you're just glad to have seen it happen. From that, it's going to be a really good call." Pretty much trying to pump up the president so that that way the conversation with the other Russians would go really well and that President Trump would then kind of go in the favor of the Russians. My friends, this feels like treason. But what do you think? Let me know down below. Do you think Steve Witkoff should be fired? And do you think he has committed treason? It's been confirmed that Trump's own team is working around him, purposely trying to keep him out of the loop. There's a new article that just came out from Bloomberg that states that a leaked conversation from October 14th from a phone call between Steve Witkoff, the U.S. envoy, and a top Russian aide, they were talking about how, well, Steve Witkoff could pressure Ukraine into accepting some kind of peace deal that would favor Moscow, and that he would even be able to pressure Donald Trump into accepting a said deal. Now, this is October 18th. This is prior to that 28-point plan coming out, which means that Steve Witkoff was actively trying to pressure not only Ukraine to move forward with this, but also Donald Trump. With Witkoff going on to say, according to Bloomberg, quote, "I knew exactly what it's going to take to get the deal done, including giving territories to Russia," and then claimed that Trump would give him space and discretion to make it happen. To make matters even worse, this phone call happened the day before Zelensky was going to Washington, D.C. to get Tomahawk missiles. So now we know why that meeting fell apart. Fast forward to October 29th, and yet another leaked call shows how Russia's Maximus demands and the framework are working into it. Meaning that Russia was explaining to Witkoff how they could push Russia's maximum demands to Donald Trump and Zelensky. And the article says that it was both of their goals, not including Trump, both of their goals to get the final plan, quote, as close as possible to Russia's own version. Clearly, a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff had been happening without Donald Trump knowing, which only confirms that, yes, Trump only knew about the 28-point deal the moment before it was leaked out to the public. The grand question is, who leaked it? It also makes you wonder if Donald Trump is even controlling the things in the White House, or he's just telling people he trusts, you guys do what you got to do and just come back to me whenever it's done.